Today marks 30 years since Ukraine agreed to give up its nuclear weapons in return for security guarantees, which failed to protect it from the Russian invasion. The Budapest Memorandum was agreed between Russia, the United States and the UK and was supposed to stop them from threatening or using military force against Ukraine, amongst others. Our diplomatic correspondent Paul Adams reports from Kyiv.
Deep under the frozen ground of central Ukraine, a relic of the Cold War, the cramped control room of a Soviet nuclear bunker. Alexander worked here in the 1990s as newly independent Ukraine handed over its nuclear weapons to Russia and shut this place down.
Looking at what's happening now in Ukraine, personally, I think it was a mistake to destroy all the nuclear weapons on the territory of Ukraine.
30 years ago, world leaders, including Russia's Boris Yeltsin, welcomed Ukraine's decision and promised to guarantee its security. Ukraine's willingness to turn its back on nuclear weapons was welcomed. The superpowers were cutting their stocks too. The Cold War was over, or so it seemed.
These missiles were never really Ukrainian. They were built and developed when this was all part of the Soviet Union. But after independence, Ukraine chose to give up what some countries regard as the ultimate guarantee of security.
30 years after Budapest, in the wake of Russia's full-scale invasion, the promises made to Ukraine seem empty. The memorandum now regarded as a betrayal.
This paper failed to secure Ukrainian security and transatlantic security. So we must avoid to repeat such mistakes.
How then should Ukraine's allies guarantee its security? At NATO, they talk about peace through strength, giving Ukraine enough weapons to halt Russia's advance. But Ukraine says membership is the only real protection against Putin's Russia. Without it, President Zelensky says ceasefires and diplomatic solutions are simply too risky. Without NATO or nukes, Ukraine remains vulnerable. The search for a new set of guarantees goes on, and so does the war. Paul Adams, BBC News, Central Ukraine.